This week in one of the games, there were 31 runs scored between the Savannah Bananas and the Firefighters, and the Savannah Bananas won their 14th straight game, the best record in all of Banana Ball history.
But then the Firefighters ended that win streak.
All that and more on this week's Banana Breakdown. Welcome to the Banana Breakdown podcast. Whether it's player interviews, weekly breakdowns of the games, or post-game live streams, we love to talk about all things Banana Ball. So let's jump into that first game where the Savannah Bananas won their 14th straight game. It was back and forth like crazy between the two teams.
Yeah, it was an incredible game. That win streak, I don't know if we're going to see something like that again. 14 straight games in a sport like Banana Ball we've been seeing how it's a high variance sport. We've been seeing how, the party animals got swept this weekend by the Tailgaters. I don't really want to talk about that, but we'll eventually get into it.
As you can see by Sammy's get-up in full firefighter gear.
Yeah, I've been a firefighter fan my whole life. Everyone that has watched this podcast knows there's one thing they know about me, other than my soda obsession here, is that I've been a firefighter fan forever, and, I don't even know who the party animals are.
Yeah, so it was a crazy game to watch because as we were watching it, it was like, I was like half watching the game on my phone, little bits here and there, and it was like the Firefighters would have a bunch of runs in the inning, and then I'd look back at the score and the Bananas had a point. And then the Firefighters would score a couple more runs for the inning, and then the Bananas were up 2-0. And it ended up being the Bananas up 4-0, even though the Firefighters had scored a ton of runs. And then finally in one of the innings, the Firefighters scored 6 runs, and it was like, there is no way the Bananas can do this. And the Firefighters did all of that with 2 outs. And then the Bananas come up, and they ended up scoring 5 runs in that inning. So we had 11 runs in that inning. They were this close to being able to even take that inning. And then from there, the Firefighters kind of clawed their way back a little bit, and then the Bananas took it home.
Yeah, it's been crazy to watch the Bananas. They're on this winning streak. It did end. We'll get into that game. But on this winning streak, they have been hitting so well. Like, it just feels like it's been contagious among the entire team. Dan Oberst has been getting in there and playing his best ball of the season.
Yeah.
Reese Alexiadis, Coach Rack had that walk-off last weekend. All of these guys are stepping up in big ways, and they're really swinging the bats well right now.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, as a Bananas fan, that did all good things have to come to an end. So let's talk about that game too. It was a really great game. Went back and forth throughout the whole thing. It was close, and then there was a little bit of a heartbreaker for the Firefighters. They thought it looked like they were going to lose it there at the end, where KJ Jackson had led off third. He thought the ball got away from the catcher, got caught in a pickle, and then the third baseman, Logan Lacey, fumbled the ball a little bit, and Kyle Jackson got home. And so that tied the game, which led to showdowns, which we're always happy for.
Yeah, we love showdowns. Showdowns are the best overtime in sports, like we've talked about many times here. And thankfully, we got 2 showdowns this weekend. We're so excited about that. But yeah, showdowns was awesome.
Yeah, so this one was actually just a 1 round of showdowns. So in the game, as long as it's tied, they'll keep doing more and more rounds. In this one, the Firefighters came up to bat first, and it was Joe Lytle for the Firefighters. He hit a perfect line drive. It went straight down the line, and there was actually like some question about if they were going to challenge the play because of how close it was to the foul line. But just a screamer down the line, he scores, and then the Bananas bring up Coach Rack. Now, the reason they brought up Coach Rack is because last weekend, as Sammy mentioned, he hit a walk-off on the pitcher, Ben Dum, who is on the mound right now. And Ben Dum has been absolutely fantastic this year. Last weekend was like the one slip-up he's had all season. Like, he's been incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy that was able to strike out Ziggy with the All-American Rejects point.
Yes.
He was able to focus, with a literal concert happening. This was weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, you gotta look it up. But yeah, Ben Dum is an amazing catcher. What am I talking about? He's an amazing pitcher, and Coach Rack just was not able to get over on him again.
Yeah, and I will say it was really interesting because he was able to make contact, and with how the showdowns were, there was a fielder, but the fielder is typically around the shortstop position. And so they hit it it was just a dribbler down by the first baseline. So Ben Dum grabbed it, and then a very interesting strategic move. So in showdowns, the runner has to make it all the way home. So he grabs the ball when Kotrak is maybe between first and second, and instead of throwing it back to the catcher, he ran it all the way home. He was not taking any chances from a missed throw, a missed catch. So he runs all the way home, and then the player at shortstop runs between him, and then there's the catcher at home plate. So it was like there is no way that Coach Rack is getting home. They were kind of putting this barricade because we did see a couple months ago where DR Meadows slid under
Yeah.
Andy Cosgrove in that one. So I think there's some like learning there of like, I'm not going to stand super close to home plate. We're going to like make sure that we get this guy out. So it was really interesting to watch.
Yeah, it definitely changes. The base running here is you have to get an inside the park home run. That's how you score in this. In the third round of showdowns, it changes a little bit with runners on base, but here the only thing that you are trying to protect is home plate, and so
Yep.
you're not going to try anything fancy. And yeah, I that's a really good point. Bringing up. It's been such a long season, I almost forgot about that. It feels kind of like that was kind of when we started the
It
podcast,
was.
and it feels like a lifetime ago at this point. But that was a crazy play where DR Meadows just kind of snuck under and he was safe. Crazy plays. So yeah, uh, the players are learning from that stuff, and strategy is changing. That's the cool thing about how new the sport is older sports, you have these strategies that have been around forever,
Yeah.
and you know exactly what they're going to do at the end of a basketball game. They're going to foul on purpose.
Yes.
That has been a strategy that's been around for decades at this point. But with banana ball and the rules being so unique from baseball, players and coaches are trying to figure it out as they go. And it's been around for less than a decade, and so there's some things that they're still trying to figure out.
Yeah, and on that topic, they're like obviously they're trying to figure out some of those rules, and then also we've seen the firefighters trying to figure out some of their lineup, their pitching staff, and it really seems like there's one piece that they've really dialed in, and that's Ben Dum. He's started to basically be the Drew Gillespie of the firefighters, the Danny Hosley of the firefighters. Of like he's their closer. He comes in the eighth and ninth inning, and he can really shut down the other team and put the firefighters in a good spot. So it's really cool to see those pieces start to come in because the firefighters have a really rough record right now. They've won 4 games, lost 18, but truly if you watch the last few games, they were so close to winning so many of those games. So like the firefighters team is they're coming from behind, and we've had a few people on our live streams accuse us of being secret agents for the firefighters to get the interviews from the other teams and feed it to them. But it's definitely we're seeing the firefighters start to catch their groove a little bit.
We got to get a firefighter on for an interview so that those accusations can stop. No, Ben Dum is the type of pitcher that you can really build a team around.
Yeah.
He's going to be there for the long haul, I think, and he's going to be the reason why the firefighters are going to keep going. Because honestly, the thing we've seen the firefighters, uh, pardon the pun here, catch fire with the uh, with their offense. Their offense is starting to click.
Yes. Yes.
Their defense has really been the issue. And so if you can get Ben Dum to kind of anchor that towards the end of the games, that can be really the turning point. Their offense is there, they can score, but they just need some better pitching and some better fielding to go along with it to really secure some wins. And how lucky are we right now as Banana Ball fans to have the the closers that we have?
Seriously.
The pitching is outstanding right now. You've got Ben Dum for the Firefighters. Danny Hosley has been amazing for the Bananas. Drew Gillespie, obviously. And then you got John Reid for the Tailgaters, who had an amazing weekend. And then Brett Carson sometimes goes in there for the Tailgaters.
Yep.
We've got some amazing closers, and some really, really exciting matchups, especially with the golden batter rule, where
Yes.
you've got these amazing closers. These pitching battles are amazing, and then you've got the golden batter rule where these guys are not only, they're going up against the best possible batters at the end of these games, and for the most part, they're delivering, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. And then the nice part is about Banana Ball is when you have these closers at the end of the game, if it happens to go to showdowns, most of the time the pitcher who's pitching in the ninth inning also pitches in showdowns. So then you get Drew Gillespie and Ben Dum and these great pitchers to be the ones in the showdowns. And then
Yeah.
it's even more stakes where you've got best hitter, best pitcher, and there's nothing in the outfield or one fielder. Like it's just so awesome to watch.
Yeah. So let's get to the other showdowns.
Let's do it.
I don't even think I brought my
That's how
my party
disappointed you
animals.
are.
No, it was a really great game. It was a lot of fun, but I I have some complaints as a party animals
Okay.
fan that I need to get out. Okay, so if this is the first time you're watching the podcast, I was just joking earlier. I really am a party animals fan. I'm just wearing this. I like the Firefighters too, and I'm trying to be a journalist. We've got a podcast, trying to be impartial, but really I'm pretty biased. But I love the party animals, but it was hard. It was a hard weekend. The games were so fun though. It was a lot of fun to watch. But all right, here's my gripe. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I was just a little confused about what happened here. The party animals and the tailgaters had a really, really close game on Saturday night, and it ends up going to showdowns. But in the bottom of the eighth, I believe it's we're going live here. I'm not looking at my notes. I believe it was tied at this point, but if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. It was essentially tied. It was very close.
Yeah.
Bottom of the eighth, they bring out a golden batter in the bottom of the eighth. It's
And
a
this, yeah.
close game. They're not saving the golden batter for the bottom of the ninth. They bring him in bottom of the eighth, and this weekend they're playing in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They're playing in LSU's baseball field, which was really, really cool because instead of playing in a minor league field, they're playing at a college field that has so much baseball history.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm kind of getting sidetracked
This
here,
is
but
great.
this is pretty important to talk about. The SEC, the conference that LSU is in, is amazing at baseball. There's just I don't know how many national championships they've won recently, but it's like a crazy number that they just dominate baseball. And LSU won the College World Series a few years ago, and one of the players for on that College World Series team actually came in. I think it was Friday night.
Oh, that's
He
awesome.
was the first ever Party Animals guest, which is cool.
Yeah.
I guess we could talk about that too. There's a lot to talk about this weekend, and it is really late, and I'm really tired, and I don't know how much we're gonna get to. Anyway, so I don't even remember why I started talking about this, but it's in LSU. Oh, that's right, because they bring in the golden batter,
Yeah.
and he he played baseball for LSU and he played football. Can't remember his name. I should know that, but we're going live tonight, and I apologize. And anyway,
And I think there were like 3 or 4 of these guests that came.
yeah,
So it was really cool to watch the party animals have a lot of special guests.
yeah. So he goes up, but he's the golden batter, not just a regular guest. When the Bananas do this, most of the time they don't use the special guest as a golden batter. They just kind of bring someone out,
Unless
and
they really want to put the theatrics
yeah,
out there.
and they can bring out two. The Anaheim game they had 3 guests. I mean, there were 2 batters, but
Yeah.
and neither of the batters were golden batters. So this is my issue here. They bring him out and he strikes out. He really, really wanted to hit a home run. He was swinging at everything, and he ended up having he went down 0-2 really quick, and then it was a battle, fouling stuff off, but it just didn't work out. So he strikes out. The party animals don't win the inning, and we go to the ninth, and now the party animals have a chance to win. It was tied because they had the chance to win at the bottom of the ninth, and it's the last two batters in your order and the first one. Those are your three.
Yeah.
You are not in a good position. And if you just would have had a golden batter to bring Jake Skull out, you know,
Yeah. Could have been a completely different
you
game.
win the game. It's that simple. You just keep your golden batter for the ninth inning and you're going to win the game. But they did not do that. And so they're not able to score because those are the batters they brought out. And then you go to showdowns and you still don't bring Jake Skull out. You bring Reese Hampton out, who he's great. He's a great batter, but he was struggling, and he had a pretty good game, but he did not get on base in the bottom of the ninth, and then he comes out and he has a pop fly that we'll get to. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a couple different things there. Like I see two reasons why you bring out the golden batter in that situation. One is purely for the theatrics. If you get a guest that wears the golden batter helmet, they get a kind of a cool thing. It maybe goes a little bit more viral on social media. You have some of those aspects.
I don't care about social media. I want to win ball games.
And that's fair. But the second reason I see is if there was that combined with a level of confidence of like, hey, I think that we can do this and still win. I think we see that with the Bananas sometimes, where a couple months ago we had Stilts come up as the golden batter. They can sub in Stilts anytime they want. They've done it all year.
Yeah.
But they put him out as the golden batter because they had a lead. So those are like the two kind of things that I see potentially. But
there was no lead. Like I imagine that the entertainment side of this was pre-planned, and they weren't
quite possibly.
they weren't expecting the game to be this close.
Sorry, I just had a thought with that. You might be onto something there. It could have like the party animals. This is like the first time at least that we've seen that they've had these special guests. That could have been a request from the guy. Is like, hey, if I'm gonna come, I'd like to be a golden batter. We don't know. We're speculating here, but there could have been something there if it was pre-planned.
Yeah, I don't know, but what I do know is that it cost the party animals the game.
Potentially,
I think it did. Like, if you look at that lineup going into the bottom of the ninth, it I had no confidence when I saw no offense to anyone, but I really was like, okay, we don't have the golden batter. I don't think that this is going to go well. And
yeah,
John Reid was playing outstanding for the Tailgaters.
yeah.
And yeah, he had what, four strikeouts in that game?
Yeah, so he got two strikeouts in the eighth inning, two strikeouts in the ninth
Yeah.
inning, and then he played in the showdowns as well.
Yeah, and he played it outstanding. So, uh yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but the game itself was awesome. I was so uh I loved that it was at LSU. I love the baseball tradition that's there at a college venue. No, they played at Clemson's football stadium, and they had a bunch of like football stuff going
Yeah,
on there, obviously, because it's in the football stadium. So like Dabo Sweeney came out, they went down, ran down the hill, and they had some videos of the football team winning national championships and stuff. But it was really cool to be in a smaller venue
yep,
at LSU where these fans, there were so many fans there wearing LSU gear, where they love their college baseball.
yeah,
There's a type of passion there that you don't find playing at a minor league stadium. Like,
yeah.
people frankly just don't care about their local minor league team.
And that's something that's cool about the party animals is they have been hitting some of these college towns, and that's kind of one of the vibes that Jesse Cole's talked about is trying to make the party animals link perfectly with like college towns. And
Yeah.
so you do some of that and start to get some of those traditions where, hey, maybe next year they're expecting it. And so some of those people that were diehard LSU fans at this game, now maybe next year they're buying a party animals jersey and they're starting to get some of those
Well, I
traditions
think
as well.
these LSU fans are going to be Tailgaters fans because of Zach Watson. So Zach Watson comes out wearing his LSU jersey. He played
So
for
cool.
LSU. So cool. And then in showdowns, him wearing his LSU stuff. He he's the one that gets so Tailgaters bat first. He gets the first inside the park home run.
Yep.
He gets the game winning run
Yeah.
in his LSU. Perfect. I wanted the Party Animals to win, but if they were gonna lose in any way, I'm glad that it was Zach Watson. And I think, best case scenario for Banana Ball in general is for that to happen because now a bunch of people in Baton Rouge love Banana Ball because of Zach Watson.
100%. And that wasn't the only thing that he did that weekend. Like again, in his LSU jersey, he was actually mic'd up during one of the innings,
Yeah.
and he got a ball coming to him, and he did a backflip catch mic'd up in his LSU jersey. And as he's like chatting with the broadcasters about it, he gets another ball hit to him, and he does a sort of like tornado catch. So he did 2 trick plays while mic'd up in his LSU jersey in the LSU stadium he played. Like just all of these crazy things that happened for a homecoming for Zach Watson, and just super cool to watch. And then he gets the game-winning run in Showdowns, like such a cool moment.
Yeah, and then we got to go to the bottom of Showdowns. Reese Hampton comes up. John Reid again is pitching. Reese Hampton gets an infield pop up. And Jordan Hussein is the fielder. And he's there, he's going to catch it. But he decides to do a trick play. He catches it behind his back. Uh, that's not an easy trick play.
Yep.
And with that pressure, um, amazing. First trick play in Showdowns.
Yep.
Really, really cool. I was thinking about it though. There is a lot of pressure there, but I was thinking about it. If he does drop it, he's in position that he can like. Reese Hampton was not gonna score the inside the park home run. So it was, I don't want to take anything away from it. It was awesome, and I'm glad that he did it because that is a perfect way to end a banana ball game.
Yeah.
That, this is banana ball, right? Like this is what they do. It's in their blood to do these trick plays even when the game's on the line.
Yeah, and you hit it right on the head of like it is such an incredible play to watch. It's so cool to see them do that in that moment. And then at the same time, you see the gears turning of they're doing these awesome plays, but it's also a competitive game. And so you see, okay, what are check all the boxes. If Zach Watson didn't score and they didn't have that run lead,
He's not doing
he
it.
probably wasn't doing it. If there was something else that happened and like somehow like let's say the batter got beamed and there was a runner on second, and so then they're more likely to get home, he probably wasn't going there. So he had a couple safety nets there. And again, yeah, knowing that, okay, the pop fly comes up, he's barely between first and second. If I miss this, I still have enough time to grab the ball, get it home in time, and do that.
Absolute worst case scenario is
exactly.
It's tied. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then it's like with all of those things, but then just pulling it off is the coolest way to end a game. And shout out to Jordan Hussein for pulling that off against his previous team because he was on the Party Animals before.
Probably why he did it too. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Party Animals are in a little bit of slump right now. I don't want to raise too many alarms, but I said it 2 weeks ago, and I think it's still true. Even though the Bananas did lose to the worst team in the league, the Bananas are playing like the best team right now. Gets me a little worried because the Tailgaters are right on their tail too.
Yes.
Tailgaters are playing really well. Getting a little worried for the Tour Championship at the end because it really comes down to who's playing the best at that time. And the Party Animals for the majority of the season looked like the clear best team
100%.
in Banana Ball. But right now, the Bananas are really clicking and Tailgaters are catching up. Firefighters still have ways to go, but it's going to be exciting at the end.
Yeah, and just on that note, we'll go over the leaderboard really quick. So if you're listening to audio, we'll explain it a little bit. But the Party Animals at this point in the season have won 37 games with 22 losses. Based on their record, they are the best team this season. But again, as Sammy said, the Bananas at this moment with their historic run right now are playing really, really well. The Bananas, because of that, have come up close. They have 33 wins, 24 losses. And then at the bottom, Texas Tailgaters, their first ever season. They've got 6 wins, 13 losses, and the Firefighters have 4 wins and 18 losses. So the two teams, the Firefighters played a few games last year, but the two newest teams are taking a little bit to get their footing. The Firefighters, even though they played last year, it was somewhere around they had like 10 to 15 new players coming in this season. So like it takes a little bit of time for them to get into their groove. And for those who may be joining later in the season right now, the Bananas and Party Animals had about 30 games before the Firefighters and Tailgaters even played. So it's really interesting. We're at a good point in the season where the Tailgaters are finding their footing, the Firefighters are finding their footing, and it's going to make the Tour Championship really, really exciting to watch here in the next couple months.
Yeah, it's really coming down to the wire here. The teams are really hitting their stride, and that's what you want when you have a playoff format. We don't necessarily know what it's going to look like at the end. We know they're all going to get together and they're going to play around and they're going to claim a champion and but what you want is for everyone to be playing their best, and that's what I think is going to happen. We're only a few months away,
It's crazy.
yeah, like a month and a half away.
Yeah, it's coming up fast. But before we end today, there are a couple things that I did want to highlight from this weekend that we didn't talk about yet. One, I guess I can let you do this because Party Animals, but I want to talk about Drew Gillespie and the world's fastest inning.
Yeah, 44 seconds. This was what 363 days after he set the record. So he broke his own record. That was, I think, 46 seconds, right?
Yep.
And so he gets, was it only 3 pitches? I think it was, right?
It was 3 pitches.
Yeah.
It was just inducing contact, and then his team behind him made outs, and at least one of them, I think one of them, Jake Skoll got a trick play. So in that 44 second, he pops it up and does it. So it's like you do that and then you still break the record. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it was incredible, and I loved watching Drew sprinting back to get ready to throw again. Like he knew
he had a chance.
Yeah, this was a possibility, and he just went crazy. Like he was celebrating the same way he does when he gets a strikeout to end the game.
Yeah,
it was like they won.
So to break that down, first out, Jake Skoll does a trick play, gets the ball back, throws it. They hit the ball. I believe this was a grounder in the infield. Drew Gillespie runs to first base. They throw it to him. He grabs the ball and he books it back to the mound.
Yeah.
Throws it. They pop it up, and he's already like celebrating, like this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it. And then he totally knows. As soon as it's caught, he looks up at the booth at Drake Toll, and he's just like, "What do we get it?" And then Drake signals something, and he just celebrates, loses his mind. Congratulations, Drew. That is awesome.
Yeah, amazing stuff. I love that stat in Banana Ball, and they one of the stats is average minutes in an inning and minutes per inning, and it's awesome. And we talked about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, how that actually has some actual implications for the game because you've got a 2-hour clock, and it doesn't happen very often, but there's sometimes where that clock will run out before the ninth inning, and all of a sudden that eighth inning essentially becomes the ninth inning. And so if you are a pitcher and you can pitch as fast as possible, it really does give your offense more opportunities to bat. So if you take too long, then you may have fewer opportunities to get back in a game, which is cool.
Yeah, and on that note, really quick with the whole timing thing, I was watching an ESPN clip. After the first Savannah Bananas game, they had one of the Sports Center announcers. He was there in the field, and he was interviewing Jesse after the game and talking about that 11-run inning and how that puts pressure on the clock of the 2-hour time limit. And Jesse mentioned, even though they scored 31 runs between the two teams, they finished the game in an hour and 59 minutes. So like it's just crazy where they can do that, and they've set up these systems of like, hey, we had a really long inning because we were scoring a ton of runs, so we need everyone to be really fast on the defensive changes and some of those things, and they can pull some strings to like make it a little bit faster while not impairing the competitive nature of the game. So it's really cool to watch that.
Yeah, but it's fun to watch Banana Ball, so don't we want it to be a little bit longer?
Well, Jesse, I've actually been listening to the audiobook for Banana Ball as he's talking about how it was made, and Jesse was talking to his dad as they were trying to come up with some of these rules, and his dad was like integral in coming up with some of these rules. His dad actually came up with the you win the inning, you get the point rule based off of like match play in golf.
Yeah.
But then when they were talking about the time clock, his dad was saying, you can't do it. Like, you got to do like 3 hours. You can't do two. That's way too fast, way too crazy. You're gonna leave, like, people are gonna want more. And Jesse was like, exactly. Like, you get to the end of the game and you are so satisfied with the experience. You want to see it again, versus like it's dragging on for so long. You're like, that was fine, but I can go a couple months without watching another game.
Yeah.
So
One of my favorite church leaders I had growing up once said, talking about talking in church, he said, it doesn't matter how good your talk is or how good your sermon is. If you go over time, no one's listening.
that's totally fair.
Yeah. So, uh, good job on Banana Ball of staying within the time limit. If once it goes over that time, you're checking your clock, you're like, oh my gosh, is the babysitter gonna handle the kids? Oh, I mean, Banana Ball's great. You can bring your kids to it, so I guess that doesn't really apply. But trying to get the kids to bed after,
Yes.
like it's too late. They're gonna go crazy. Uh, anyway.
Yeah. And then another one that I wanted to bring up really quick, Dalton Ponce for the Party Animals. There was, I believe it was 6 straight batters. He struck out all 6 of them. It was absolutely incredible. Dalton Ponce. I need to look at the bananaball.com/stats and see where that pushes him in the rankings, but just doing it that many times in a row is just really impressive. So I wanted to shout out Dalton on that.
Yeah, there's some great pitching in the league right now. That's for sure.
And then the last crazy thing that happened this weekend is the overall for Banana Ball as a whole. They broke the record for number of trick plays in a season in the World Tour. So Ryan Cox got a trick play. It's in the thousands for all of them total, and they've still got a month and a half left. So obviously Banana Ball is growing, more teams, more games. So it makes sense they'd break a record like this, but still worthy to note that that happened at this time.
Yeah, it was great. Great stuff. The trick plays are getting so exciting. They're coming up with new stuff. I'm excited to see what's more in store. Uh, yeah, and the Bananas got to play in Colorado. Got to play where the Rockies play, and honestly, they looked a little better than them.
Yeah, and then next week I believe the Bananas are playing in the Chicago White Sox stadium. So it's just this is the part of the season that just gets so fun, seeing all these MLB stadiums, and it's really exciting for the growth of Banana Ball. We're excited to see where the rest of the season goes. And also, if you didn't see it already, we had Fisher Polydora from the Visitors on the podcast last week for an interview. We've got some other ones lined up here soon, and then in the off season we'll be doing a whole lot more of interviews. So be sure to subscribe to follow along with that, and we'll be breaking down all the games for you in the next couple weeks.
Go Firefighters!
Go Bananas!